I'm Jasmine Enriquez, founder and executive director of Only with Consent. We want to come to your campus or local community organization because we believe that addressing the issue of consent in a very public but safe space is really important to making sure that people feel comfortable talking about this issue. I was sexually assaulted and realized that the more people I felt comfortable sharing my story with, the more people were opening up to me about what happened. And so I felt like I needed to do something about it to help others and also to help myself. I stand here today because I want you all to know, men and women, and wherever you fall in identifying on that spectrum, that one person that I told is the reason why I'm standing here today. I am alive because he listened to me. Now, we are officially a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are connecting with students ranging from middle school to college in addressing the issue of consent, healthy relationships, respect, and communication.
My name's Mike. I'm the Director of Education for Only with Consent. We're here to create curriculum, lesson plans, and workshops and talks so we can engage with students working together to talk about these issues and expand the knowledge from the classroom out into everyday life.
Mike and I go out and speak together. We are engaged and we live what we are speaking about. And so it's not just somebody giving textbook examples. Mike and I feel very comfortable in opening up our relationship to the community to give examples of how we ask for consent. And this isn't just about how to prevent sexual assault, but how to help somebody who has gone through this themselves. So I just want to make sure that you guys see it as big of a problem as it is, and not just like, that would never happen in my house. None of my friends would ever do that.
It's really a unique program, particularly because it has the story from a survivor's perspective as well as a partner's perspective. And that's something that I haven't seen offered. And in addition to that, when you pair that with the educational component, it's really powerful.
For every person who gets to participate in our discussions, be able to walk away and understand what consent is, how to ask for consent, and be able to define consent. We want to reach every school, every student across the United States.
Sexual violence is a human issue. It affects everyone, and we need to be educating our youth starting from a young age, and that's where we're really going to start to see change. So even if it does seem like common sense, and that's great that it does, that means, someone has probably talked to you about these things in the past, it might not be for everyone. So have those discussions. That's what I'm talking about. Bring that back to your chapter and people will respect that.
The group brings in a lot of personal experience. So there's personal touches, there's stories. It brings the audience in and it lets them understand that these are real people who are talking to them, who've experienced the topics that they're trying to educate people on. And I also think that creates an environment of open and safe dialogue where people are more willing to ask honest questions and maybe even ask questions that might be controversial, which is great because it allows for more teaching moments and it allows for some real connections to happen in the presentation.
I like that they put their confidence in us and they trusted us to share their story with us. I thought that was really cool, and it takes a big person to do that. And who knows, there could have been some people in the crowd who could have shared a similar experience.
We do interactive workshops because we want to engage the people who are participating so that they can learn and take this knowledge and apply it in the real world outside of the workshop.
The Only with Consent message that we spread in our workshops is very modern, is youthful, and it's direct. We want to make sure that the students that we're speaking to see us as one of them so that they can really connect to our message. The only way that people are gonna really start to think differently about this issue is if they feel like they can talk about it and that they have somebody listening to them on the other side. But just making sure that the person is equally as into it as you are. So not just going up to somebody at a bar and kissing them because they're standing next to you. You know what I'm saying?
Good question.
I've absolutely seen a positive response from the students who participated in the Only with Consent workshop. My students are typically really excited and activated about the topic afterwards. They walk away with tangible suggestions about how they can actually ask for consent, which is one of the hardest things that we can communicate. in this type of education. My groups are a combination of representatives for different communities, and many of them come to me after looking for access to Only with Consent so that they can bring them in to talk to their community.
So we've talked about consent and sexual assault and kind of all of these issues. Where do we go from here? How do we make sure that we're making the right choices and that we're also doing what we can to keep people safe? We can help you address the issue of campus sexual assault on your campus by bringing our workshop to your students, having them engage in conversation and dialogue around the issue, not only of sexual assault, but also about consent. So how can we get them to make sure they're asking for consent, not feeling awkward about it, taking that to their organizations and their friends, and also in how to support survivors. If somebody shares their story with them, we want your students or your peers to understand that how they respond is incredibly important. If you're interested in bringing Only with Consent to your campus, go to onlywithconsent.org/booking.